Squares and square roots, that is chapter 6. Now what is the meaning of square of a given number? Square means the same number multiplied by itself. The number multiplied to itself gives us the square of that number. That is 5 multiplied by 5, 25. That is what you mean by square. Now these are the square numbers from 1 to 20. The first column gives you the number, second column gives you the square of that number, that is number multiplied with itself. So on the multiplication table, these are the highlighted columns, these are the squares. So rest of the numbers which you see, they are not squares. So not all numbers are squares. Now these square numbers are also called as perfect square. Now why again and again this term square is associated with these numbers? Why is 4 called as a square or 9 as a square? Because geometrically if you see, these objects, these number of objects, we can arrange in the shape of a square. That is why they are called as square numbers. So if you take the objects as 3 in one row and 3 in a column, then you can form this way. Total 9 objects can be arranged as a square. Total 16 objects can also be arranged as a square. Now if you want to form the next bigger square, you need to add one row over here and also add one column over here, because that is the meaning of square, that length and breadth should be same. So if you are adding a row, you should add a column as well. So the next square will be 25. If you add a column and a row and a column over here, you will get 25 objects. So that will be your next square. So that is why these are called square numbers, because they can be arranged in the form of a square. Now square root of a number is another number which when multiplied by itself gives back the original number. So you can say that it is the reverse operation of squaring. So when I say the square of 2 is 4, I can say the square root of 4 is 2. That is how square and square root, they are related to each other. They are just the opposite operation of each other. So when I say the number is 11 and the square of 11 is 121, then I can say that square root of 121 is 11. So that is how they are related. So now this column gives you the square root. So if the number is 1, square root is 1, number is 4, square root of 4 is 2. If the number is 9, square root of 9 is 3, and so on. So the previous one, just the columns are interchanged. This is the symbol for square root, this sign. So if a number is a perfect square, then you can find its exact square root. So not all numbers will be perfect square. You have already seen in the table given, only the highlighted ones between 1 to 100. In this table, between 1 to 100, I had shown you that only these many perfect squares are there. Rest of the numbers are not perfect squares. They cannot be arranged in the form of a square. So if a number is a perfect square, then only you can find its exact square root. A perfect square is simply a number that can be written as the square of another number. So this symbol, and below that you will write the number. So square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 16 is 4. And so on. Properties of square numbers. The first property of a square number is that a square number can only end with the digits 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 and 9. So square number, it cannot end with these digits. So if a number is given to you which is ending with the digit 2 and it is asked that is it a square number or can it be a square number or find the square root of this number, you can directly say that this is not a perfect square number because it is ending with the digit 2. Same way for 3, 7 and 8. with these 4 digits, if the number is ending, that means the number is not a square number. Square numbers can only end with digits 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 and 9. And it is because you can see in the table which you have already made, this table is important for that. It's important for understanding that. So, if the units digit is 1, the square of the number will be 1. If the units digit is 2, square will be 4. If it is 3, then it will be 9. 4, then 16. So you can see the ending digits here. It is 1, 4, 9, 6, 5, again 6, 9, 4, 1 and 0. So here 2, 3, 7, 8, these digits are not coming. So you can see here 18 is ending with 4 because 8 is ending with 4. So these only can be the unit digits ultimately. The units digit will be only a single digit. Either it can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till 9. So that is why the ending digits you can see from here, it can be only 1, 4, 9, 6, 5 and 0. It cannot be 2, 3, 7 and 8. So that is the first property of square numbers. The second property is the number of zeros at the end of a perfect square number is always even. Now why even? Because if I am having a number with a single zero, I multiply it with itself. When I multiply, I will get a number with 2 zeros. If I multiply a number having 2 zeros with itself, then the resultant number will have double the number of zeros. That is 2 plus 2, 4. If I multiply a number which is having 3 zeros with itself, then the resulting number will be having now 6 zeros. So always that number of zeros will be double. So that will come out only as an even number. A perfect square number will always have even number of zeros. So if you are given a number which is having only 3 zeros in the end, it cannot be a perfect square. Same way, if you are given a number which has 5 zeros or 7 zeros, odd number of zeros, it cannot be a perfect square. That is the second property. Third property is that square of even numbers are always even, and fourth is square of odd numbers are always odd. And few examples I have written down here to prove that. Now next very important thing is units digit of a number and its square, the relation between that. That means if you are given a number, a very big number, but the units digit you are going to check. I am only talking about the digit which is in the ones place or the ending digit. So if the number ends with these digits, the second column shows you the square of the number will end with which digit. So if the number is ending with 0, square will also end with 0. If the number ends with 1, then square will end with 1. If the number ends with 2, square will end with 4. If the number ends with 3, square will end with 9. If the number ends with 4, the square will end in 6 because 4 4s are 16. 1 6. So 6 is the ending number. Then 5 5s are 25. So if a number ends with 5, the square will end with 5. 6 6 are 36. So if a number ends with 6, the square will end with 6. 7 7s are 49. So if a number ends with 7, the square of that number will end with 9. 8 8s are 64. So if a number ends with 8, the square of the number will end with 4. And 9 9s are 81. So if a number ends with the digit 9, square of that number will end with the digit 1.